Howdy, folks. It all starts, and dare I say, ends with your list. And if you've listened to me to any degree on this subject, you would know that I refer to that list as the list of who knows me. The whole industry, that's me being a little bit contrary, the whole industry calls it who do I know list. I'm not comfortable with that because that phraseology connotes an imagery of targeting. Who do I know? It's very me-centric. And I'm going to target that person and target that person, that whole sort of 1950s, 60s management military metaphor nonsense, which I described in a previous vignette as describes precisely no one as you target your target markets. But if I make the list of who do I know, or rather, who knows me, even I slip up, then I'm beginning to ponder the relationship from their perspective. And rather than me targeting them, maybe I've got to do things to attract them. And because I'm pondering the relationship from their perspective, how do they know me? Why do they know me? How did we meet? Maybe what is their impression of me? It just gets you thinking more deeply relative to that relationship. The instructions generally in the industry is put down the mailman, and he doesn't know you. He knows what mail you get. Maybe you wave to him from time to time, but he really doesn't know me. Be more real. This is a real business for real people. So begin to focus on real relationships. Now you build that list. And I'll give you a quick primer on that. You have name, contact details, phone number, email, Twitter handle, whatever methodology you want to use. And other than name and contact details, the most important section is on my list, right over on the right, is the answer to this question. Why is what I have at Unicity of value to them? I'm framing the relationship from their perspective. Who knows me? How and what and why, and what would be their impression of me? And what do I have that's of value to them? You see, what that does is that frames up more better, more properly, more effectively your initial invitation. So instead of it, and I'm exaggerating now for effect, so instead of, hey, Nate, I need you to join me because I'm trying to get a free trip to Hawaii and I need one more recruit. Now, we don't say that, but many times that's the imagery that comes across. You need to do something for me because I'm excited and I need to get something else. Well, you've got to be a pretty magnanimous individual to buy into that vibe and then step out of your comfort zone to do something for some yahoo that's joined some crazy scheme you're not really fully aware of. Again, I'm exaggerating. Wouldn't it be much better as you frame your initial invitation to be, hey, Nate, I was thinking about you, and last time we chatted, and you mentioned insert issue here. You're too tired after work, you want to lose a few pounds, whatever. That's another conversation on issues lists, and I'll refer you to that video. And I think I've got a solution for you. So it's hey, I listened last time we spoke. I heard what you were saying. I've been thinking about it, and I think I've got a solution for that issue upon which you spoke, or that issue that I know generally you're aware of. Certainly don't say, hey, Nate, I noticed you're slightly overweight. I think I may have a solution for it. That's not how you want to do that. But you're framing what we have in the context as a solution for them. So in our terminology, you're making life better for them or attempting to. The cool thing with that, amongst a whole bunch of other things, is that even if the answer when all is said and done is no, it's no, but gee, thanks for thinking of me. You've sustained, elevated, strengthened the underlying relationship. You never know when that's going to circle back around, and I'll speak to that in a little moment. That's how you build your list. Go through those people, sequence them from the person you would most dearly love to have join you to the one that, yeah, I'd love it if they did, but I don't know them that well, etc., etc. And then, as intimated in previous videos, I would start with my, sorry to stratify people this way, my second tier folks. One, because when you're new, you don't know everything. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you need to know. And so I've got to work on that, practice a little bit, and I apologize for stratifying people and using some folks as practice. But let's be frank, when we first start, we don't know what we're doing. do some work there, get better at your craft after a time or 2 or 3, and then circle back to those people that you really want in your list because you really want them there and you're somewhat more practiced at doing it. Then you engage in, subject of another video, list management. So you're always looking out for those that need what we have, adding them to your list, resorting your list. I do my list on a spreadsheet so I can more easily resort it based on when they were put there, or my ranking system I have for the sort of people that I think they are in terms of the contribution to my team, or the need they have that I've perceived that I have a solution for. And I just work my way through the list. As part of slowing down to speed up, I purposefully, even now, go through a steady number every day, or with crazy travel schedule, maybe every other day. My suggestion is 2. If I have 10 people on my list, I don't go and make 10 invitations today and burn through them all at the lowest point of my skill set when I first start. I just take 2 a day over 5 days. I'm learning things as I go along. I can recalibrate and go forward from there. Another reason to not go whole hog and full speed when you first start is imagine if the best possible thing happened and all 10 of those invitations said, yeah, you bet, I'm in. How on earth would you do appropriate level of onboarding and training and getting started session and hand-holding and arm-arounding and following up and all those other good things? You're by definition going to let those people down. Again, you have high velocity of activity at the lowest point of skill set. 2 invitations today, here's the cadence, 2 invitations today, 2 follow-ups tomorrow or the next day, a second follow-up tomorrow or the next day, and you overlay those. So you're doing 6 things each day. Extending an invitation, following up number 1 from a day or 2 ago, and follow-up number 2 from 3 or 4 days ago. Over and over and over and over. You do that constantly and consistently. Number 1, you'll get better at it. Number 2, you'll begin to measure how things operate and how they work, and you'll begin to resort your list, and those you thought would have been great, maybe not quite so much. Those you thought, well, I'm not sure if they'd be receptive to it, they'd elevate themselves to someone who wants to join you. All starts with the list. Well framed, well positioned, well thought through, and a graceful initial invitation. On that subject, I always send a text, or even better, make a phone call to speak to someone, and I don't mind if I get voicemail. In fact, in some regards, I prefer voicemail, which is, hey, Nate, Aaron here. I found a solution for you that I think may be helpful to insert issue here, or I've come across something that I think may be of value to you in this particular area of your life. Again, positioning it as, what do I have of value to you? I'm going to send you an email with a link. I just want to give you a heads up to look out for it and to go through it. That's why I like voicemail, because I don't oversay it in my initial conversation. That way, they're looking forward to the email. When it arrives, they're like, oh, that's the email from Aaron. Let's have a look at this. I'm not doing some chicken email out of the blue, trying to hide behind things. I'm being upfront about it. I think, what I think may be of value to you. I'm going to send you a link in an email. I'd love you to take a look at it. I'll follow up in a couple of days to see what you thought. That's the invitational process. All framed and couched in, what do they think of me? Who knows me? Why and how and what? And what do I have that's of value to them? And the phraseology and terminology and approach is all framed within that context. And then away I go every day. Invite, follow-up 1, follow-up 2. Invite, follow-up 1, follow-up 2. So you've got these 3 lines in parallel. Now, I could regale you with my spectacular failures of using that list and extending invitations, and I generally have more people say no than say yes. There you go. Even me, after decades of experience, with all the wonderful skill I have or don't have, still have that same very low success rate. I'm still working on my craft. But as I've shared before, the final question I would give to someone after follow-up 2, maybe follow-up 3, depending on the nature of questions, when it's clear they're not really interested and they're fishing for an excuse to get out of this conversation and go in a different direction, I'll say, look, that's fine. Now's not the right time. I understand that. No problem at all. I wait for the absence effect to go to work at some stage. But do you mind if I just put you on my tickle list? The general question of that is, or response is, well, what's your tickle list? Well, I'm still a bit wary here. Well, it's just the list of folks that I know I've contacted that I don't want to bother again much going forward. You see them relax. And just every couple of months, I just send a little sort of note to see, what I'm doing, where I'm at, and what I'm up to, and we'll make a Facebook post or whatever else. They're like, oh, yeah, sure, that's fine. I have yet to have anybody, when I give them that graceful exit, there's that terminology again, say, no, I don't want to be on your tickle list. And then I honor how I describe the tickle list by every couple of months, I'll send an email out, sort of newslettery style, say, hey, I was just in Hawaii with a bunch of folks from Unicity, had a great old time, here's a couple of pictures. Or, as many of you know, my series on Facebook of here's the view from my office in Timbuktu, showing the value that I was trying to present effectively to them that for whatever reason I didn't because they didn't get it and buy into it. Long story short, my tickle list is growing over time by definition of all the no's I get from the initial invitations. It's now bigger than my initial invite list, but I consider it just as valuable because in the last quarter, I had more people join my organization from my tickle list than I did from first invitations. Because I think many people, they want what we have, but they're just not quite sure that we're necessarily the vehicle we think we are or we say we are, or they've heard it all before, and so we get put in that category of stuff. We don't know. Maybe their dog died that morning. It's just a bad time to extend that invitation, whether they see it or not. So you let the passage of time go on. Time and circumstances change. They watch, and they see, well, hang on a minute, that Aaron guy's still doing that thing. He seems to be having a bit of fun doing it. That's very attractive to me. Note the terminology I'm throwing in there purposefully. Yeah, I may want to ask some questions on that. And it always comes back with a few little pleasantries. But, hey, you look like you were in Hawaii. Good time. Well done. Tell me more about this Unicity thing. Oh, tell me more about this balance stuff or this activate stuff you were talking to me about before. I can't remember that fuel with fat thing. What was it? Blah, 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 blah. That's a hallelujah event because they've somewhat prepped. They've watched over time. They've seen that this isn't just one of those next crazy schemes of Aaron, that I'm here for the long term, that which I was promising them I'm experiencing, and they come on board. But it all starts with a well-made, well-framed list from which I extend well-made, well-framed invitations from which I follow up with profound and well-timed follow-ups, from which I start them well, from which they go or they don't go, or they go on a various list, and away we go. Go back and look at your list. Go back and rework your list. Go back and resort it. Go back and reframe it. That list is gold. And it should, if you engage in active list management, always be a resource to you and always have some names on it, so you're always extending invitations, always following up, always doing that which brings new people into your business, your family, your life, and thus makes it richer in every measure of that word. Make your list, make it right, use it well, value it, manage it, and you will be just fine. Thanks.